Straight ahead on Falcon Weekly, a killer confession. A 19-year-old woman admits to murdering dozens of people across the country. And she says if she was not in jail, she would keep on killing.
Save it or spend it. With millions of Americans filing their taxes, find out what they plan to do with their refunds.
And the severe Winter Awareness Week, see how you can prepare for Mother Nature's next blast of bad weather. Falcon Weekly starts now. Hello, and welcome to Falcon Weekly. I'm Rio Smith.
And I'm Tom Davis. Thanks so much for joining us. An unexpected twist in a murder case involving a newlywed couple who police say killed a man they met through Craigslist. In a jailhouse interview, Miranda Barber confessed to a reporter that she has killed dozens of people across the country. As reporter Andrew Spence tells us, the murder started when she was just 13 years old.
A woman accused of luring a man to his death says she's killed dozens of times before.
I said, what's the actual number? And she said, under 100.
Francis Scarcella, a reporter for the Daily Item in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, finally got his jailhouse interview with Miranda Barber on Friday. He says Barber floored him with claims of killing dozens of people starting when she was just 13 years old, with victims in Alaska, Texas, California, and North Carolina.
I said, Miranda, you know, as you sit here, do you have any remorse whatsoever? And she said, none.
The now 19-year-old Barber and her husband have entered not guilty pleas in a separate case. Police say the newlywed Barbers just wanted to kill someone together, so they found 42-year-old Troy LaFerrera through a companionship ad on Craigslist. In November, LaFerrera's body was found in the backyard of a home in Sunbury. Police say he had been strangled and stabbed 20 times. The last number dialed from his cell phone led police to the Barbers. Scarcella says Miranda Barber claims to have only killed those she considered bad people. The self-proclaimed Satanist claims to have killed fewer than 100, having stopped counting at 22.
You know, you can take all of everything else that she said in the interview, and you can take all of the numbers that she threw around and all of that out. But the more surprising thing to me would be the fact that she said that if she got out, she would do it again.
Whether Barber's claims of killing dozens of people are actually true, it's hard to say. Investigators say they're looking into it. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Barber's husband told police that his wife had tried to kill people together before, but those plans had not worked out.
The man who killed a 17-year-old boy over loud music is facing up to 60 years in prison, but not for murder. Michael Dunn was found guilty of 4 or 5 charges, including 3 attempted murder charges for feuding at an SUV full of teenagers. Jordan Davis, who was African-American, was driving the night of the shooting and was killed. However, a jury with no African-American representation became deadlocked on the first-degree murder charge, forcing the judge to declare a mistrial on that count. While Dunn was found not guilty of murder, he would still most likely spend the rest of his life behind bars.
I agree. If he was sentenced to 60 years and you assume that he did not get his convictions overturned on appeal, you are looking at basically life in prison. At 47 years old, you're right, that's a life sentence regardless of count 1.
Because of the mistrial of the first charge, the prosecution plans to retry Dunn on second-degree murder.
George Zimmerman is opening up about the night he killed Trayvon Martin, 7 months after he was acquitted of second-degree murder and manslaughter in Martin's death. Zimmerman sat down to talk with CNN's Chris Cuomo.
Regrets about it? Certainly, I think about that night, and I think my life would be tremendously easier if I had stayed home.
If you could go back, you would have stayed home that night?
Certainly, yes. In hindsight, absolutely.
The Department of Justice is investigating any civil rights violations in the case, but says charges aren't expected.
Turning now from news around Alabama, a big-name gun manufacturer is moving a lot of jobs to our state.
Remington is reportedly moving close to 2,000 jobs to Huntsville. Remington will buy a 500,000 square foot building to use for training and company's commercial, military and law enforcement businesses. The company says manufacturing won't start until sometime in 2015.
The Alabama Department of Commerce announced that the state's exports held steady in 2013, dropping 1% from the 2012's record high of $19.6 billion. Alabama exported a total of $19.3 billion in state products last year. The biggest share of the state's exports come from transportation equipment and parts, which accounted for $8.3 billion of the total. The Commerce Department says that Alabama ranked 23rd among the 50 states in value of its exports last year.
The Alabama legislature is looking to pass the bill that will allow all colleges and universities in our state to participate with schools in other states to share online course credits. Currently, any university or college that wants to share online course credit with institutions in Alabama has to endure a number of hurdles, such as reviews and licenses. Those schools must also set up with Secretary of State as a business in Alabama. If passed, the bill would eliminate a lot of the red tape and would help streamline the processes for all institutions looking to participate in the new agreement. The National Veterans Shrine and Register of Honor was dedicated at the American Village in Montevallo today. The event included the unveiling of 2 sculptures and 9 paintings honoring the service and sacrifices of American veterans. Grounds secured from battlefields and monuments from around the world were also dedicated at the event. Special guests included U.S. Senator Jeff Sessions, Congressman Spencer Barkas, Lieutenant Governor Kay Ivey, and Alabama House Speaker Mike Hubbard. It's Obama's 6th President's Day in office, and his approval rating remains near the lowest of his presidency.
According to a new CNN report, 42% of Americans think President Obama is doing a good job, but 53% of Americans give Obama's performance a thumbs down. Obama's approval rating dropped last year following a series of controversies, including the botched rollout of the government health care website. Well, it's tax season, and that means some of us will be expecting refunds. So, will you save or spend that money? A survey done by TD Ameritrade shows that most Americans plan to save their tax returns this year. All right, here's the breakdown. 61% will save or invest their refund. 21% will pay off debt. 18% will spend their refund on necessities, and 19% will make non-essential purchases. Nearly half of Americans said they expect to receive a refund. The national refund last year was more than $2,700. Coming up, found out how the weather may be the cause of depression according to the season.
Also, The Tonight Show may be getting a new host, but they are returning to their roots this evening.
Hear how the USA is making history at the Olympics. Those stories and more when Falcon Weekly returns.
Welcome back to Falcon Weekly. This week on campus, students have a new option for lunch.
Falcon Weekly's Kayla Guillo joins us in the newsroom with more information.
Sigma Tau Delta is hosting their chili sale once again in Comer Hall this year, and chili isn't the only thing on the menu. Sigma Tau Delta is Montevallo's English Honor Society, and thanks to them this week, $5.50 will get you a bowl of chili and a soft drink. They will sell lunch from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., and when we arrived at 12:30, they were already sold out. But you can also pick up a good read for $1 while you're there. Throughout the year, the English faculty members save their unwanted books and donate them to the cause. The chili sale will continue until this Thursday on the first floor of Comer Hall. All the proceeds from the chili sale will help members travel to conferences and present their work.
In other campus news, Food Service has announced a possible move for Starbucks out of Farmer Hall. Officials have confirmed to Falcon Weekly that Starbucks will likely relocate to Carmichael Library. is hoping to bring a new food vendor into Farmer Hall after Starbucks moves out. So far, there is not official word on what that new business will be.
Turning now to weather, this is Severe Winter Awareness Week in Alabama. It's true that our state is no stranger to severe weather. With the past few weeks proving that weather can be unpredictable, it's always a good idea to have a plan in place when severe weather strikes.
Joining us here in the studio, Falcon Weekly's Clovis Allen explains that the importance of severe weather awareness prepared for any kind of weather. How's it going, Chloe?
It's going great, guys. Thanks. And just as you mentioned earlier, we're very familiar with severe weather in our area. So what can you do to protect yourself and your family when bad weather hits? Early planning and increased awareness is key to helping you survive these storms. During this week, each day is devoted to educate Alabamians on how they can prepare for different weather emergencies. The schedule is as follows. Today, February 17th, is severe thunderstorms. Tuesday is severe lightning. Wednesday is tornado safety. Thursday is flooding and flash flood warnings. And Friday wraps up with preparations for all hazards. For more information, you can go to the National Weather Service website and look at the Alabama All Hazards Awareness booklet and read more about how to prepare for Mother Nature at her worst.
Thanks for those tips, Chloe.
So what's our weather looking like this week?
Well, it is very different from last week, that's for sure. We go from one extreme to another, from being in freezing temperatures and snow last week to temperatures in the low 70s and rain this week. All right, what we are looking at for today is a high of 62 and a low of 46, with a chance of rain later on tonight. Tuesday, the high is 68 with a low of 54 and a 20% chance of rain Wednesday. Well, and Wednesday will mostly be cloudy with a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high of 70 and a low of 56. And as we head into the end of the week, Thursday, we could see a high of 73 with a low of 52 and a 60% chance of thunderstorms later Thursday night. Friday, we could see some more thunderstorms with a high of 63 and a low of 32. Saturday, we get to see the sunshine with a high around 64, but later Saturday night, we can see the clouds roll back in along with a low of 45. And Sunday, it's partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers. So definitely keep your umbrella handy. We might need it. That's a look at this week's weather. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Chloe. The winter weather may have some people dreaming of warm summer days ahead, but for others, the cold weather can actually lead to depression. Reporter Holly Furfer shows us some ways to beat the winter blues.
You cold and outdoor winter sports. You've got to admit this has been a tough season. Not only is it brisk outside, but shorter days and longer nights can bring on the blues. It's estimated at least 12 million Americans suffer from a type of depression called seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. Doctors say in severe cases, people with SAD become depressed. Many patients claim they just can't function. That's because the brain goes through a chemical imbalance due to a lack of sunlight, which can lead to a number of symptoms, such as fatigue, lack of energy, oversleeping, difficulty concentrating, and cravings for foods high in carbohydrates that can cause weight gain. There are ways SAD can be treated. Modify your diet and exercise more. There are specially designed light boxes that are used to treat those with SAD, and if the problem becomes serious, some doctors will recommend antidepressants or psychotherapy to help patients get through the dark days of winter. And be with family. Laughter and togetherness are great therapy for the winter blues. It's a perfect way to stay warm even if the temperatures outside are frigid. For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Furfer.
And now we'll look at what is going on in entertainment news.
Mandy Stedman joins us for the latest Hollywood buzz. Hi, Mandy.
Hi, guys. A lot is happening in the entertainment world. The first is a look at a much-anticipated book release. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling is planning to publish the second book under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith. Rowling's publisher announced the new book on Twitter. It will be called The Silkworm and is scheduled to be published on June 19th. The book is a follow-up to crime novel The Cuckoo's Calling, which has soared in the last year. After Rowling revealed she has written it under a pen name. This is Rowling's third novel for adults. Actress Ellen Page publicly came out over the weekend at a human rights rally called Time to Thrive in Las Vegas. Known for a role in Juno and the upcoming film X-Men Days of Future Past, Page announced that she is gay and emotionally stated that she was tired of lying by omission. The actress also said she hoped her coming out would help make a difference. This event was held to help promote the welfare of LGBT youth. After 42 years on the West Coast, the Tonight Show will begin back in New York. In a nod to the show's 60-year history, the show will air from the same studio Johnny Carson used at Rockefeller Center. Comedian Jimmy Fallon is taking over the show from Jay Leno, who hosted for 22 years. Fallon's first guests are Will Smith and U2. Other guests expected this week are Jerry Seinfeld, Lady Gaga, Kristen Wiig, and Michelle Obama. Changes and decisions are being made for the Best Original Song category at the Oscars. The Academy has decided to revoke their nomination from the song Alone Yet Not Alone from the movie with the same title. The composer of the song, Bruce Brun, emailed the current members during the voting period, which gave him an unfair advantage because he is a former member of the Board of Governors. The Academy has also announced that Idina Menzel will be performing Let It Go from the movie Frozen at this year's ceremony on March 2nd. And guys, I gotta say, Frozen is hard to beat, especially within this category of Best Animated Feature Film, and also has really memorable characters. What do y'all think?
I've never seen the movie. What is it about?
It is really cool. It's about these two sisters, and one of them, Elsa, actually is almost like a snow queen. She has these really cool powers, but she hurt her sister when they were younger, so she kept it a secret. But it finally came out and scares everyone. She goes into hiding, and Anna has to go help her and find her because she has unleashed winter all across the world. And if you want to take a look at for my Oscar predictions on the Alabamian.com, I made a few predictions. Y'all can tell which ones I had right and wrong and all that good stuff.
We'll definitely give those a look, Mandy.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for Mandy for getting us up to speed on entertainment news.
Coming up after the break,
see how the Team USA fared in the ice dancing competition in Sochi.
Falcon Weekly's Wilbur Scott will join us when he comes back from sports.
Welcome back to Falcon Weekly. I'm Wilbur Scott with a look at this week's sports. Mara Davis and Charlie White of Team USA won the first American gold medal in the history of the ice dancing competition. They're seen here in last night's competition with the performance that placed them into the finals. Their performance in the final competition today captured the gold. The gold medal keeps the U.S. tied for first with 5 gold, 4 silver, and 9 bronze. Russia, the Netherlands, and Norway are also tied for first place. Now, bringing sports closer to home, the New York Yankees star Derek Jeter's 20-year career will come to an end. That's right, after this 2014 Major League season, his career will end. The team captain announced on Facebook that he will hang up his cleats after dealing with injuries over the last 2 seasons. A 5-time champion and 13-time All-Star, Jeter currently has the most hits of any Yankee player in the history with 3,316, also ranked 10th all time. Jeter will more likely be a first ballot Hall of Famer when he is eligible in 2019. Sports fans, if you didn't watch the NBA All-Star Game, you missed a nail-biter. That's right. The big names of the NBA showed up for the highly anticipated 2014 All-Star Game last night in New Orleans. In a Smoothie King Center Arena sellout, fans were treated to a high-scoring game as defense was neglected throughout the night. Turning over an 18-point deficit in the fourth quarter, the East came from behind to defeat the West, 163-155. Cleveland Cavaliers' Kyrie Irving led the East with 31 points and 14 assists, claiming the MVP award ahead of his East teammate, Carmelo Anthony. Anthony set an All-Star game record with 8 3-pointers, and that's a look at sports. And be sure to check out Falcon Fever Thursday for all of your UM sports.
Thanks, Scott. Finally today, who needs proper running shorts when you can grab your tidy whities or underoos for a race?
Saturday was the second annual Cupid Undie Run in Orlando, Florida. The run, which organizers say is a mile-ish, raises money for the Children's Tumor Foundation. Last year, it raised more than $1 million. Half-naked runners hope to hit $3 million this year from events in 30 cities across the United States and Australia. And let me just be the first to say, I will not be running in my underwear anytime soon.
Not me either.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week's show. Thank you so much for joining us.
For more UM news, be sure to check out the Falcon News Network blog. The web address is on your screen. We'll see you again next week.